Hey guys, how are you today? I'm good. I had a great week. Last week was the 4th of July for those of us in the US. I had to work that day. It felt oddly enough like I had a Saturday in the middle of the week. One of those Saturdays when I work a football game and don't get a Saturday. Did that make any sense? So it was like 2 work days, a football game, 2 work days, and then an actual Saturday. We had the big stadium show. That's why I was working. Had a really good time. It was great. It was a great show. Happy belated Canada Day to my friends up north. I think I wished you a happy belated Canada Day last week, but I don't remember because my mind doing its own thing. All the time, doing its own thing. So, hey, how are you? Did you survive your week? Good. You survived it. You're still breathing. In, out, in, out. It'll be okay. Maybe not tomorrow, but eventually it will be okay. I did stuff. I crafted. I don't even have one of the things I crafted because I took it home to Mom and she wasn't there and I left it there and I should have brought it back so I could show you, but maybe next week. But that's for later. So let's get started with the project report. I remembered this week to bring home inspiration. So what you're going to see is about 2 weeks worth of the project. Let me see if I can fold it a little bit better so it's not too crazy. So it's easier to fit all on screen. But anyway, so here we'll step back a little bit so you can get kind of a good view of the overall picture. So there it is. I know, I totally unrolled it for you guys this week. I don't usually do that. I'm loving it. It's absolutely beautiful. This is inspiration. It is by Rosewood Manor. As usual, I will put notes on my projects in the description box down below. Sometimes the description box is off to the side. Depends upon how you view your videos. Let's see. So the past 2 weeks, I finished up. Let's roll it up here just a second. Sort of more able to be handled. All right. So in the past 2 weeks, I finished these trees and the steeple on the chapel. Did the house, did the tree, did the laundry line, all that. And then I was able to move up a little bit and start in on the vines that will go across the top here, which is the mirror to all this stuff. So I will have all this stuff to do next. So there you go. See there? Mirror of all that. All that over there. All that over there. Get dizzy yet? Good. Well, sorry. So that is my progress on inspiration. Really pleased how it's coming along. Although there are a ton of changes, what's the word I'm looking for? Change floss quite often, every so often. And so each flower, each leaf, each thing feels like a little mini finish. And that's kind of how I keep going. Because you are changing your floss colors all the time, guys. All the time. So there is that. Let's see. Now for the next one that I have been working on fairly consistently for the past little while. I even unpinned it, you guys, so we can unroll it, look at it. Mostly flat. Oh my goodness, this one, it's a long one. Okay. You're not even going to get to see. All right, so here, show it to you kind of in the all together. So there's our shepherd on the one side, things, whatnot, more whatnot, way over here to the wise men. I am working on the wise men. So let's just kind of fold this so I can hold and point better. So last week I had most of this blue in, so this week I put in all of his red cloak here, all of his blue cape here. This is the gift that Wiseman number 3 is holding, but it was right in the middle of everything, so I decided to put it in. This week I'm hoping to get his face, and he has some hands here, face, hands, and then his little hat thing, whatever these are called, hat thing. So that's not a lot. It might be a lot, but it depends upon what I end up having happen this week. It's totally in the realm of possibilities. It's totally in the realm of possibilities that I will be crazy and not do anything that I think I might do, which happens to every single one of us all the time. Am I right? Of course I'm right. So there is, this is the Oh Holy Night Nativity. It is by Stoney Creek. I believe the pattern is still available. It's not like it's out of print or anything. And my pattern is promised to my BFF, so stop asking me about it. Well, I don't really mind you asking me about it. It's just that it's promised to somebody else. And I'm sorry. But the BFF gets first dibs on a whole bunch of things. Just like I get first dibs on her stuff, she gets first dibs on my stuff. It's a good system when you got a BFF that stitches too. So there is that. Now, this week I actually have a teeny tiny skosh of stashquisitions. Just a few. Saturday I needed to go up to Salt Lake to pick up my last check from Tuck Everlasting, do the theater thing, because I didn't want to wait forever for them to decide to mail me my check. So I talked to my sister and I'm like, we need to devise things to go do in Salt Lake because I want to pick up my check and I feel it's silly to just drive 35 miles, pick up the check, turn around, drive 35 miles back. So we stopped in at the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery, which is LNS up in the Fort Union area of Salt Lake City, on Cottonwood Heights. I got 3 flosses for the 3 Little Words project that I am working on, because I'm almost out of these 3 things and I have 2 more patterns to go. Then while I was there, I picked up Love Me, Love My Dog. There we go, you can kind of see it with less glare. Love Me, Love My Dog. And then Getting Old Isn't for Sissies. I'm pretty sure I don't have this one, but I might. I actually need to go in and update my X-Stitch app because that is seriously out of date. So that's that. It's everything I bought for cross stitch in the past week. So I could probably survive Stitch from Stash really well right now. But that's just because I have a new hobby and I'm buying all the things for the new hobby. So, speaking of the new hobby, it's time for Oh Yarn. That's where this went to. Cell phone charger. I was looking for that. I took this project with me over to the stadium. While I was in the ticket booth serving as emergency backup tech support. Let's see, how many rows did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4¼ Okay. Well, not rows. It's 4¼ repeats. So I worked on my Hitchhiker shawl. This is a Martina Behm pattern. It is a very popular pattern on Ravelry, and so I'm sure if you're a knitter, you know of this pattern. So here it is. You can see my little dangly. That's where I started. This is, so I did 4¼ of these little toothy things. Boink, 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 boink. So it was a wonderful day in the ticket booth. I am working this on, it's a Miss Babs. What is this? Woodbury is the base, and Hot to Trot is the wonderful pink colorway. So they would ask me at the ticket office, what are you working on? So I'd have to throw it over my shoulder and say, eventually it'll be a scarf. Eventually, one of these days. So I am on repeat, where are we at? I am about to finish repeat 23 of 42, which is why it's called Hitchhiker. But who knows when that'll happen. You can't really say you're halfway done just because they get longer and longer on the ends. But that is where I'm at. Alright, let's put this aside. And now for the big spendy part of the show. It is the Yarnquisitions. So let's start with Miss Babs because all know that I am completely and totally obsessed. So the first thing I ordered of the order, is it purple? Do you understand purple? No questions as to why I bought this. This is, I don't know, Calopecia. Whatever. It's purple. It's a light worsted or heavy decay. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Gorgeous. Love it. Soft, wonderful, pleasant. I'm looking for a shawl or a cowl or something to stitch that into. This is Woodbury. It is in the colorway Love Knot. And I bought it thinking that it was the same purple as my, where did I put that? Okay. So in the Hitchhiker, you see where I did just little, just one stripe of the purple. This was a sample. I thought this was about the same match, but this didn't have any pink in it, and this has quite a bit of pink, and so it's, oh, good, for crying out loud, for good grief, great grief. So it might work, it might not. I haven't decided yet. It actually might. That might be a great one. But I need to go over to Mom's house and cake it up so I can maybe throw it in as random stripes on my Hitchhiker just for a little interest. So maybe I'll go over tonight and cake it up. She brought me home a new Martina from Arizona. Mom and Dad, I mentioned that they went to Arizona and had to attend a funeral. Anyway, she brought me a new Martina. Okay, it's new to me, but it's an old one. But it zigzags. So I might be able to turn in 2 of my machines for the one machine. So yay, stay space saving. So I'm off track. That should be in sewing silliness. Here is the next purple. Any questions? This is the Estrellita. It has the silver sparkles in. I wanted to try it just to see how it knit up, what it was like. And even just sort of handling the skein, I don't like the sparkles at all. It's just, I don't know what it is about the sparkles. I'm not enamored of them. So I'll just have this one skein. I might knit it up into something. I love the colorway. Colorway is Faith River. It's purple. Do we have any questions? Any questions whatsoever? No. So there is that. And then I bought some random assortment. Well, I selected the mini skeins. There is this one. This is boysenberry, purples and grays. It's just, it's beautiful. I love it. This one was, what is this? In Motion, I think it is. Yep, In Motion, another little mini skein, purples and blacks and whatevers. Zombie Games, I loved the greens in this. I know it's not one that I normally buy, but I thought it would be fun to do, cuffs or toes in this with with one of the purples and have a nice, contrast there. That's Zombie Games. And then we have Bloomin' Pansy. Any questions why I bought this one? No? You guys catch on quickly. Anyway, it's mostly yellows and hot and then pinks. There's a splishes of purple here and there. But of course I bought it because it was a pansy, but I bought a small one because I don't usually go for the yellow colorways. So there is that. Put that over here. Now, y'all were helpful, and I learned something. Y'all taught me that the Felice, I needed 2 skeins of the Felice if I wanted to knit socks, and so 1 more skein of each of the colors that I had purchased were acquired. And that's it. That's it. I got out of a Knit Picks order with just this yarn. Wow. Managed it. So there is that. Where are we going to put it? We'll just put those right there for now. And then the last thing that arrived in the mail is from, I guess I'll hold it up so you can see it. This is Iron Wheel Farms. It's Pansy, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what that word is. Piquancy. I suppose I could look it up. But it is a beautiful mishmash of soft purples and some yellows, but the purples and the greens and they're sort of reddy, mauve-y colors that I really enjoy. So there is that. Lovely, lovely, fantastic yarn. Pretty! Might make another hat out of that. Oh, totally forgot to mention it when we were talking yarn. I finished off my sock head hat, and I took it over to Mom and Dad's house for Mom to tie in the ends, because she ties in the ends for me. Thank you, Mom. And then to just, dump it into some water and not really block it. About as far as we block a hat is to fold it in half and then layer it over the rounded arm of a chair, so it's not flat. It just has a little bit of a curve to it, but not too much. Anyway, but I haven't been back over there since I left it there on Saturday, because I thought they'd be home from Saturday. Turns out they didn't come home until today. Blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so maybe next week I will have the sock head to show to you, because it's finished. I finished something. So that's number 2 things? Yeah, 2 things. I've knitted 2 whole things, you guys. All right. The last thing that I picked up still is, a little tiny drawstring bag. Any questions here why I picked it up? Any questions? No? Good. It's a super simple drawstring bag for knitting. She called it a sock sack. She said it had a pocket in it. Sure enough, it has a pocket in it. But that pocket is smack dab in the center of the thing. Not exactly what I had wanted, but, I guess. So maybe I'll have to do some R&D, reverse engineer the bag, and make me one of these. Because these, about the right size for what I want, but I don't want the pockets smack dab in the middle. I suppose it works if you're knitting socks from 2 balls. If you split your skein, do 2 balls, and I suppose. I don't know. But mostly I just use one big cake, and that's not going to work. So, cute. Love it. Great quality. It is from the Fireweed Studio. She is in Alaska. Well, you can see right there, handmade in Alaska. Back of her thing. Etsy. Yahoo. Stuffity stuff. Anyway, it's great. It is a great quality thing. Oh, here. It has these little snappy-doos. So you can use for yarn guides if that's your jam. Anyway, well-made sack. Well-made bag. Like it. I like it a lot. I guess I'm just going to have to learn how to knit socks and cake up my stuff into 2 separate things. So there you go. Cuteness. So that is everything. That is all the things for Yarn and Yarnquisitions. I did mention a little bit of sewing silliness. So a while ago, I showed you this little pattern. Yeah, take along tote sewing pattern from Sometimes Sewing, which can be purchased at Never Not Knitting. The premise is it's a thing. It's a what's it? Come on, brain. Oh, another knitting sack. So I think I'd shown you guys that I had the outside pretty much put together and ready to go. So I finally finished it. I cut out the lining. I put in a little pocket. This is like a nylon webbing. It's not really soft for the hand feel. They had recommended like a cotton webbing, but I'd purchased the nylon webbing for another project that I was going to do that I haven't done. So I just went ahead and threw in the nylon webbing for the handles, and I think cotton would have been much, much better. The pattern is really well written. It was super easy to put together. You know, loop it through like that, carry it along, nice big open sides, so if you're a determined knitter, you can just knit out of each of these sides. I'm going to be sitting in the car for 2 hours tomorrow getting to and from a conference we have at work, so I probably ought to figure out something to take with me to knit on. Maybe it's going to be this and my Hitchhiker. Sounds like a plan, my friends. Sounds like a plan. Okay, so anyway, great pattern. Enjoyed it. Recommend it. The directions were clear, easy to read. Enjoyed it so much so that when I finished this one, I started to cut out another one, and all the pieces are in the other room, so I'll show that to you whenever I get around to finishing it up. So there you go. That is all the sewing silliness. Alright, so now for the most important part of the show. It is time to tell you all about the Floobies. I met 6 new stitchers this week. Some of them have been on Instagram for quite a while. Some of them are just new to the show. Some of them have, oh come on brain, other family members who do Flosstubes. So they're all coming to join the fun. So everybody go take a look at these wonderful people. Links to their channels will be in the description box below, just like always. Usually there's my information on my projects, information on the Floobies. I don't know what else you guys need me to put down there in the drop down box, but you know, I do my best. So here we go. The first stitcher I met is Shell Stitches. She starts us off with the Know Your Needle Worker tag. She is working on Bella Hydrangea for Mirabilia, and she does the tag and the intro to her whips and stuff in the Stitch With Me style. She's a cutie. The next stitcher I met was Skate Stitcher. She loves stitching with her mom, who has taught her how to stitch. She shares a couple of her finishes, and fun, funky whips. So go give Skate Stitcher a listen, a view. Go check her out. Next, I met, oh my goodness, all of a sudden, English doesn't exist for me, you guys. To Dye House, D-Y-E. She starts us off with the Know Your Needle Worker tag, shares some of her stash and favorite designers. She explains where she got the name of her thing, where she got the name of her channel. Please forgive me, I'm hungry, and apparently I can't English anymore. The next stitcher I met was Julie, the Seussical stitcher. She loves Doctor Who and collects all the memorabilia. So, like me with pansies, only she's with the Dr. Seuss. She's a multi-crafter. She shares several Little House Needleworks projects and just does fine work. Next, I met the Mighty Kymm. She is currently stitching some gifts for her friends, so they were kind of shown on the DL with not a lot of explanation given, just in case the friends figure it out. But besides those, she's working on some fun Halloween stitches And there was some Disney stuff. There was some other things. Anyway, a great variety of stitches. And the last new stitcher that I met was Stephany Nene. She starts us off with the Know Your Needleworker tag as well. She is from Indonesia, so English is not her first language, but she acquits herself very well. She has several darling stitches, a lot of sew stitch, and she's just a cute gal. So there are so there are our Floobies for the week. So go give them a look and a like and subscribe if they tickle your, if they're your peeps, if they talk to you. So we've got news, notes, and etc. Today, I learned that there's such thing as a sweater curse. I had no idea. I was kind of amused. It reminded me of the tattoo curse, which I learned about from watching Miami Ink. I was thinking it was 10 years ago, and no, it had to have been 15 to 20 years ago when that show was on TV. Yeah, we used to watch it all the time, Miami Ink. Anyway, so the tattoo curse is basically, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant others not getting around getting along so well, kind of on the edge of breakup, but not really there yet, you know. So one of them will come in and get the name of the other tattooed on them. And all the tattoo artists are like, no, dude, no, don't do this. This is a curse. And it seemed like it was a true curse. In a rocky spot with your significant other, go get their name tattooed somewhere on your person, and that relationship is over in 6 weeks. It was crazy how that seemed to be very, very true on Miami Ink and LA Ink and London Ink and spin-off franchise Big City Name Ink. Anyway, so apparently there's a sweater curse that is quite similar to the thing. Put all your time and love and effort into a knitted garment, and your significant other will be gone in 6 weeks. Am I knitting for any of y'all? Hell no. Not at all. So there's the curse. As I was puttering around the internet looking at the Yarnquisitions and stuff, I discovered the Eldebacher sock machine. This thing is awesome, you guys. You put your yarn in it, you spin the wheel, it makes a nice tube, and then you go on and do your cuffs and your toes and an afterthought heel of some sort or another, and you got a sock, and you didn't have to spend hours and hours and hours of knitting stockinette stitch. The only problem is, those suckers start at like $1,000. I ain't got dollars for that. Well, maybe if I stopped buying yarn like it was going out of style tomorrow, then maybe I'm... Anyway, that was a really cool gadget, you guys. Really, really a cool gadget. So I'm not going to save up for it. I need to save more money for a new car. My poor car, she's 10 years old. She's a good car. Let's see, I already told you that I brought the additional Felici in order. So that means the only thing left to talk about is really the big ol' stadium fireworks show that was on the 4th of July. We actually had a really quiet day out in the ticket booth, which was the reason I was able to knit so much on my project and get just a ton of it done. The show was practically sold out. We did not have a lot of instances of fraud. I think last year it was. There were tons of stuff where we're like, this doesn't seem right, and we'd research it and find out that, yes, this is active fraud, and so, you know, stuff like that. So there was some of that going on. At Crew Meal, I talked to the head guy over AV Productions. So he was in charge of setting up the commands and programming the whatnot that would relay the camera feed into the truck so they could cut it and splice it and redirect camera feed out to the big screens for the band, you know, on either side of the band so you could see them up on the big old massive jumbo screen at the one end of the stadium so you could see what was going on. Anyway, I was talking to him, and he had said that he'd got everything set up and was ready to go, and they got it didn't seem like it was a program. All he said was when they plugged in the One Republic stuff, it just destroyed all the work that he had already done. So I was at crew feed at about 5:15. Doors opened at 6. The show in earnest started at 8. So he was having a very bad, stressful day. But he'd said we got most of it straightened out, figured out, and starting to work. And that he was getting his dinner. He'd got it going enough that he thought the rest of his crew could handle, some of the stuff of what they were doing while he went and got some food, and then the rest of the crew was going to start cycling through, sort of thing, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I assume he got it figured out because by the time the show was going on and I got to see, the show, part of the show after the ticket office closed, it looked good to me. It looks like everything was closing down and starting up, and the switches back and forth between the cameras looked flawless and smooth. They put on a good show, even though poor guy was stressing it. I did hear some complaints that if you were in the north stand, the sound was off. I was over in the west. Sound was good for me. The stage setup was really, really odd. I'm looking around to see if I've got a piece of paper here that I can draw really quickly what we had going on. Screen, setup. I should have prepared beforehand. All right. So they had 2 monster screens set up on either side of where the band was playing, like you see in most major concert venues. They did it really well. The only problem is they had a ton of space between the screens and the front of the stage, but for some reason decided to set the band behind the screens. So it was kind of hard to see the band. We were all there to see the band, but the band was back behind the screen. And so where my seat was, so the band was in an end zone. You come out to the 50-yard line, and then I was on the farther end of the 40-yard line, give or take. At my angle, it was still hard to see a lot of the band if they weren't really up there towards the front of the stage. So it was really weird. The band should have been either in line with the big screens or in front of the big screens. But for whatever reason, they were set way back. I didn't see all of the show, so I don't know if they had other stuff going on and they just didn't push everybody forward, or if the producers of the show were lazy. I don't know. You talk to Scott, and he thinks it was a whole crazy bunch of shenanigans, and, he's been in the event producing business for 30 years, and he says that nowhere else in the world does it like we do it, so that says something. So anyway, it was a great show. One Republic put on a fantastic show. They flew in right before the show started, got from Provo Airport up to the stadium, did their meet and greets. By the time the meet and greets were over, I think the show had started. We had 2-3 flyovers, some big old, military planes. I'm not a military plane kid. I'm sorry. Stuff. Anyway, we do have Hill Air Force Base up just close to Ogden. It's like south of Ogden, but up near Ogden. And anyway, so we had things, words, jets, the new F-35s or the F-35s. Anyway, so they did a flyover pass going north to south, and they turned around. You can't see, turned around. I know, I talk with my hands, and my screen's not wide enough for all my hand talking. Don't let me talk with my hands when I've got a knife in one. Bad stuff happens. Anyway, so they circled out here and then came back and did another pass south to north. presumably on their way home. One of my friends was up just north of here in Pleasant Grove, and she said, "Why are there jets circling out here?" And I'm like, "Oh, they're in a holding pattern. They're just waiting for the show to start." And they get their word from the caller who was up on top of the press box to come on down, do the flyover, that sort of thing. So anyway, that was a lot of random. So the 4th of July show was great. I stayed and watched the band. Like I said, One Republic, they put on a great show. I might have to go buy some more of their music because I think I own like 2 songs. 2 songs, maybe? No, I only own one of their songs. How's that for funny? I only own 1 song. But they put on a great show, so I think, go support the band and buy a couple more songs. In Utah, it is legal to do some aerial fireworks. We shouldn't be because we're in a drought and you're likely to set the whole state on fire. Somebody set the whole state on fire up near Strawberry. We've got a major wildfire burning up there. But anyway, so the neighborhood that surrounds 2 sides, the east side and the north side of the stadium, they had just gone nuts with the fireworks that you can purchase, the aerial fireworks. So everything's going on, the band's doing their thing, there's fireworks going on. I can see it because I'm in the west stands facing the east end of the valley. Just fireworks, little things. I mean, not as spectacular as the professional ones that we pay for the big show. But enough to, I guess, impress the band, because he's like, "I'm getting a great fireworks show just standing here performing." So that was fun. It was a great show. Have I said that enough? Great show, stupid staging. Anyway, so what I do to avoid all the traffic, because yes, the stadium normally holds about 65,000, but we closed down one of the end zones so that we have in stadium fireworks that they shoot out from the south end zone, and then there's a lot more fireworks that they stage across the street off of the softball field and the track and field over there. So they're going off across the street. So there's 45,000 people in the stadium, plus about 200,000 people come and just gather around, all the neighborhoods. There's cars all over the place. It's just absolute chaos. So as soon as the fireworks start going off, I leave. I do not watch the pro fireworks. I'm like, "Well, time to go." So anyway, I got out of traffic and managed to come home at a decent time. So that was my 4th of July. No barbecued burgers, no potato salad, no nothing. Just a lot of fireworks. I did go to the crew feed. We had chicken and green beans and baked potatoes and a roll and a cookie and lemonade to drink. So there you have it. Crew feed was not too shabby. I enjoyed it. It was fun getting to talk to some of the other stagehands about what they do, related to the show. So that's everything. I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope you get plenty of time to stitch all the things that your little heart desires. I hope you find some peace and comfort if you are looking for such things. And if you need it, I hope you find solace in your crafting. Thank you, everybody who likes, comments, and subscribes, and sticks with us in these crazy, crazy videos, because it's like we're at 40 some odd minutes, and I've just rambled on, and I swear I only had content for 2 minutes. So thank you very much. I hope that frog stays far, far away from you. Run it over if you see it on the freeway. Hugs and stitches, everybody. Bye.